Welcome back to the new era of Melanin Mysteries podcast, a Black true crime podcast with attitude, where Black true crime meets love, lies, and betrayals. And I just want to say thank you for joining me for another week because you already know we got another case where some shit done went left and then somebody done lost their life. Now, if you're new here, welcome, boo. Go ahead, put up a chair, get comfortable while I tell you a story. And I hope you stay a while long enough to become part of the family. And to my cousins, hey y'all, hey. I hope y'all have had an amazing week. And listen, I just want to say, I appreciate y'all so much. The messages, the check-ins, the case suggestions, the random key king. I love it here real bad, like real bad. Now, before I get too deep off in my bag, for the newbies, because I be running my mouth and forget, let me introduce you to me. My name is Tiffany. You can call me Tiffany. You can call me TG. You can call me Detective Lightskin. And I don't know why, but when I say please don't call me Tiff, I don't know why people think it's still funny to do it. It's not. Like, boundaries, respect. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. Again, not sure why that needed to be said, but whatever. Just respect my boundaries. Like I said, please and thank you. Now, let's go ahead and knock these announcements out real quick so we can get into what y'all really came here for. So May 30th, I need you to mark your calendars. It's the subscriber-only edition of the Cousin Confessions Live. And if you caught it, what was that, Saturday? That was yesterday. If you caught it yesterday, yeah, a lot was going down. The tea was piping hot over there. And I said, and if you ain't subscribed, baby, I'm going to tell you, all you got to do is so easy. Just head over to Apple or Spotify, click on one of the episodes that has a lock on it and sign up. And then you can get the tea too. And you also get all the other stuff. So yeah, just go over here and do that. And like I said, Cousin Confessions, I'm not solving anything. I'm just spilling the tea that y'all share with me and giving y'all my opinion on it. And like I said, I tell y'all business with love, but this specific time, the cousins will get to chime in too. So you already know it's about to be so messy in the best way. So I hope you go ahead and sign up and subscribe because I would love to see all of y'all there. And yes, just a reminder, you can still submit your anonymous confessions at melaninmysteries.com. And to answer the question that I always get, no, I cannot see who sent it in. Your business is safe with me and the cousins. Now, I might talk about you a little bit because you made questionable decisions. If you didn't want me to talk about it, then don't send it. But whatever. Now, also on the website, you can send case suggestions. You can sign up for the weekly-ish Cousins Vibe Check newsletter because I didn't do it last week. I couldn't. I don't know. It's the beginning of grad season. Y'all gotta give me some grace. I am struggling. I am so tired. I have not gotten more than like 4 or 5 hours of sleep for the last like 3 weeks every night. So yes, it's a lot going. And just, so just bear with me. And one more thing, if you're enjoying this show, I would so much appreciate if you would go ahead and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening, because I know it really might sound small to y'all, but it really does help the algorithm push the show out. And if y'all love me like y'all say you do, that is all I'm asking. Now, all right, got that out of the way. So let's get into this week's case. So the week's vibe check is Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River. So I need y'all to let me know if it passed or if you got a song that fits this mess better. Because this week, child, we got a love triangle. Well, I don't know if it's exactly a love triangle. Kinda. Well, anyway, however you want to slice it, it was a crash out that didn't have to happen. Because we got a husband who couldn't let go, but got his own situation going on. We got a wife playing way too many games with way too many goddamn people. And then we got one that was caught in the crossfire. And again, this is a good man. He was a good man, Savannah. He was just minding his melanated business. And then you know how that goes. As usual, he's the one who paid the price. So this is a story of Kristopher Miller and Derrick. Wait a minute, let me. Pastor Derrick Griffin. Now, go ahead, sit back, secure your bonnet, your edges, your wig, your frontal, all of it. And let me tell you what happened. I never meant for anybody to get hurt. I'm just trying to, be out here, live. I've been locked down in a marriage for so long. I don't even remember what it feels like to just be free. So yeah, I'm dibbling, I'm dabbling, trying a few different flavors, seeing what tickles my fancy. I mean, I'm almost single. Can't say I'm big single, but we've been separated long enough for me to mind the business how I see fit. So my little boo, he took me out, just to have a good time, nothing crazy, just vibes. I met his sister, we laughing, we kicking and everything's flowing how it's supposed to. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I kind of like this. So then look, the night is over, we head outside. And I be damned if my husband ain't parked across the street. Because why are you here? And see, this is exactly why I can't deal with him. You don't even want me, but you don't want nobody else to have me either. But not tonight. You're not about to ruin my night. Go back to whatever you've been doing, because it ain't got nothing to do with me over here. So my little thing, he walks me to my car. Like I said, he's a good man, Savannah. He's a gentleman. He gives me a kiss and he tells me to call him when I get home, and I pull off. Still feeling good, not even realizing that man across the street, he's not done. Because unfortunately, that was the last time that I ever saw my little boo thing alive. So look, y'all, it's May 10th, 2011, and we are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this man, Kristopher Miller, he's 27 years old. He just left his date. They had a nice little night. Like I said, nothing crazy. They were just out vibing, having a good time. So he walks to her car. He makes sure she's straight, and he heads home. Now, mind you, this man doesn't live far, like a couple blocks from the bar where they were at. So in his mind, his night is over. He pulls up, he gets out the car, he walks to his porch, and before he can even make it inside, shots ring out. And just like that, now the neighbors hear it, but they're confused at first because, like, is that fireworks? It's too early for Memorial Day. But, people start popping off fireworks early and early every year. But nah, those ain't fireworks. Those sound like gunshots. And while they're trying to figure it out, poor Kristopher is outside on his own porch, laid out. Now, here's the part that'll mess you up, because Kristopher's grandmother, she lives in that same apartment complex. It's like a little fourplex. And she heard the shots and she came outside and she saw her grandson lying there. And I don't even got to drag that out because y'all already know, like, that's not something you'll probably ever forget. So she calls 911 trying to get help there as fast as possible. But unfortunately, at that point, it's bad. And just like that, the man who literally had just got home, he didn't even get a chance to walk through his front door. And when police get there, Kristopher is already gone. And now they're trying to figure out what the hell just happened. So, they go around, they're talking to neighbors, they're asking questions. And you know what? For real, ain't nobody really see nothing except for one person. Like, most of them were just like, we heard the shots, but as far as we know, we didn't see who did it. Now, there was one man, and he actually said that he saw a black man, a white car, Cadillac, running away after the gunshot. So they at least have something to go off of at this point. It's not much, but they got something. And Kristopher's grandmother, like I told y'all, she's the one who found them, and she was one who called 911. And after she does that, she calls his sister Ruby. And of course, Ruby's distraught. She's completely beside herself because not only did her brother just get shot, but she had literally just been with him. Like, they were at the club together, kicking it. And now 1 minute you out, next minute you're getting a phone call saying your brother is gone. Like, I don't even know how you process that right away. So, like I said, at this point, unfortunately, Kristopher has lost his life. He is now deceased, and nobody has any answers. Now, before we go any further, I do want to talk about Kristopher and who he was, because I'm not about to just run through him like he was just another name in a story. Kristopher Miller, he was from Minneapolis. He a regular dude, like, when I say regular, I mean he wasn't out here doing the most. The man had structure. His mama was a principal, so you already know he was not out here wilding or whatever. And his grandmother, her name was Arlene. And that was the one who had came outside to insult him like that. And I don't even want to stick that there too long because it's like really pissing me off. And then he has a brother, Craig. He has a sister, Ruby. And they said that he had several more siblings, but I couldn't find their names. And like I said, Kristopher, he was a good man. Like, he had a plan. He wanted to be a police officer. He had graduated from North High School in 2002. And he was going to college. And in addition to all that, he actually came back and was working at the high school with the kids, coaching, being a family liaison. Like, he was up there doing what he was supposed to do. Like, he cared. Like, they say he knew the kids by name. He would greet them in the morning. Like I said, like, this poor man. Like, they did say he was a little bit quiet, a little bit more serious, but like I said, that don't mean nothing other than he wasn't in nobody's mess. Minding his melanated business. Just how I like it. And like I said, on top of that, he had just gotten his associate's degree. Minding his business. So, like I said, he wasn't out here reckless. He was just trying to build something for himself and lost his life. Probably didn't even know the reason why, honestly. And there's another element that's going to piss you off even more when I get to it, but we'll hold that out for just a minute. So let's go ahead and go back to the night that everything went down. So the police, like I said, they got to the apartment where Kristopher was found, and they started talking to the people closest to him, which they started with the grandmother, Arlene. And, she runs down everything that happened. Now, they also talked to his cousin, Mark Miller. Mark was inside the house, his granny's house. He was asleep at the time, but he heard the gunshots. But that was all he knew. He said he woke up, he heard something, then he rolled over and went back to sleep until he found out, like, he heard his grandma screaming. Then he got up. Now, police are like, okay, but we need more. Like I said, they had the one neighbor who saw something. They heard the gunshots, and that's really it. So not much, but we got something. There was one thing that stood out was that there were no shell casings found at the scene. So they're okay, there's probably a revolver, because revolvers, from what I understand, don't leave shell casings behind. I am not a gun connoisseur, so I have to do my research on like what's what and how and what and why. Yeah, because I am not a gun connoisseur. I don't even like guns at all. But next, they talked to Sister Ruby because she got there expeditiously after Granny called, and she's like, "Let me tell y'all what happened this tonight." Because, like I said, this can't be a random situation. Now, she tells them that she and her boyfriend Leon were actually out with Kristopher, and Kristopher had had a little lady friend with him, and they were at the Elks Club on Plymouth. Like I said, they was out drinking, kicking it, having just a random evening. Random evening, man. I do just trying to go out, just trying to unwind. Like, it'd be a lot going on, and sometimes you just need a drink just to unwind. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. So she said they ended up leaving around 11:15ish, somewhere around there. So cool. Two couples, they came outside, and then Kim points across the street at a white Cadillac and was like, "There go my ex-husband stalking me again." Ma'am, again? What do you mean again? So this man just be popping up watching you like he's sitting outside like this is normal? And then you just casually pointing it out like he. But anyway, like the way Ruby tell it, like Kim is like she kind of like chuckles, laugh, like it's not even weird. Ma'am, this is very odd. And don't bring me into your bullshit. Handle your situation. Don't bring that bullshit to my door. But like I said, that would have been my cue right there. Because ain't nobody saying something like that, and then I'm gonna be like, haha, okay, girl, bye. No. But in this situation, I guess they didn't press it. They didn't check on it. They were just, nobody was like, maybe we should not ignore the man outside watching you. They just went their separate ways. So everybody go home. And then the next thing Ruby knows, she's getting a call that her brother is dead. And that is not a coincidence. Now the police are like, okay, so we got a new player in the game. We got Kim Griffin. That was Kristopher's little date for the night or whatever. So I think, okay, like, let's call her in. Let's have a little chit chat with Kim. And like Kim was like very forthcoming. She's like, okay, yeah, so yeah, I'm married or whatever. And she's like, yeah, my husband, his name is Derrick Griffin. And yeah, but let me tell y'all something. We separated, okay? So like I'm single adjacent. And she wanted to make that real clear. Like she was like, look, we've been separated for a good minute. Like it's been over a year. So I'm out here doing my little 1-2 or whatever. I'm outside. It's about to be a summertime. Now, I don't know what Minneapolis is like in the summertime, but shoot, Cleveland, it may be nice, it may not. I don't know. We 70 here today. I don't know, because last week it was 70 on Saturday, and by Sunday it was snowing. I don't know. So I don't know if any other places like that. Cleveland, you can get all 4 seasons in literally a day, just depending on how it goes. So I'm assuming that it's outside. She about to get her groove back. She trying to be like Stella. I ain't mad at you. Now she said. She told them how her and Kristopher met. She was like, look, Kristopher was bartending at the Elks Club on the weekends because, mind you, Chris got 2 kids. And he doing what he needed to do. So he picked up some extra work. Tip to be good at the bar. You get to flirting at the bar with the bartender because, you're trying to secure some free drinks or whatever. So you know how that goes. They end up flirting, having a couple of drinks, a couple free drinks here and there, And at the time, like I said, Kristopher was 27 when this all went down. Now, Kim, she a little older. She a little older. They say she's about 10 years older than Chris. Me personally, no, maybe she was in her cougar era. I don't know, but not I, said the cat. But whatever, none of my business. Now she said they start talking, and Kristopher tells her he's in school for criminal justice, he was getting his degree. And then Kim was like, I'm interested in being in law enforcement as well. Like, unfortunately, she was like, I lost my son to gun violence as well. So now they got a little bond going on, and they're talking and connecting, and then he offers to help her study, and then y'all know where it turns into. Like, it turns some creeping in the sheets, and next thing they know, like they're a little item or whatever, kind of. So Kristopher ends up helping her pass her criminology course, and being who he is, he like, okay, I'm gonna do something to like celebrate my boo. I love that for him. And he throws her a little get together at the Elks Club on his day off. So like I said, we're gonna fast forward back to that night. They leave the club around 11:15ish. He walks to her car, gives her a kiss, she leaves. All right, boom. And that was the last time she saw him. So police are like, okay, well, let me ask you a couple questions about Derrick. And they're like, does he know you're dating? And she's like, yeah, he knows I'm dating. Like, it's not a secret. Shoot, he dating too. And she's like, he knew about Kristopher. And she like, yeah, I saw him outside the club that night. Like, he be stalking me. What do you mean by this? Like, did you report it? Why is he stalking you? And she like, she's saying like it ain't no big deal. But look, so then she's like, okay, well, look, I'm gonna give y'all this man's phone number, and y'all take that up with him. My name Bennett, and I ain't in it. Okay, they're like, cool, appreciate it. But why are we playing on the phone? So they like, okay, they get this number because, like I said, we have too much evidence at this point. Like, Kim doesn't say the man stalking her. He drives a white Cadillac. A white Cadillac was seen pulling away from the crime scene. So they like, all right, Derrick seems like a viable suspect. So they like, we need to go ahead and try and track Derrick down. Okay, they called Derrick and answer, and they're like, okay, well that didn't work. So we're gonna take this up a notch. While some detectives are doing that, Kim also is telling them, like, look, I talked to Derrick a couple times this evening. She's like, I talked to him at 11:30, I talked to him at 11:46, 11:49, 11:55. And actually, we had just gotten into an argument because he was asking me where I was at, where I was going. And that ain't his dang on business. So he knew I was on my way home. Interesting. And like I said, she was like, she asked him, like, well, why was you outside the club? Now, she didn't respond to that. And mind you, while she's in this interview, her phone is ringing and she's getting text messages. And she's like, they're like, who's calling you? And she's like, oh, no big deal. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, at this point, it's looking real sketchy because we got all this evidence. And then Derrick asks, he knows exactly where you are. And I'm assuming he thinks you're alone because you're on the phone with him and y'all have exchanged several phone calls at this point. So, okay, cool. Derrick is suspect number one, but they don't know where he is. All they got is a phone number. They don't have a weapon. They don't know if anybody else was a target. And like I said, they don't have this man in custody, and they don't know what he may do if he's on a rampage, if she might be next. And they're like, well, we're not about to play no games. So it's about 5:36 in the morning on May 11th, and they send what's called an extingent circumstances request to Sprint. Basically, like, hey, we need everything on this phone. We need the subscriber information, the call logs, cell phone tower data, current location, where this phone has been for the last 2 weeks. So they said that Sprint actually went ahead and sent them records back. Sprint was shitty. And this is where it gets funny because when they hand them the phone number, they found this phone is not even in Derrick's name. Like, his name is nowhere on it. But it's the correct phone number. So they do know that the phone is active and it is actually pinging off of towers. And get this, at the time of the murder, it was pinging off towers right where the murder happened and around the time the shots were fired. So we're not guessing anymore. The man was right there. And then it gets even better. There was a phone call made from that phone about 25 minutes before the shooting, and it pinged off a tower across the street from the Elks Club, the same place Kim said he was sitting outside. Sorry, we might as well just go ahead and wrap this up. We don't even have to look. This would have been a perfect thing for the first 48. Wrap this up. Dumb. All of it's right there. This took them a few hours to get this together. Horrible. Dumbass. Anyway, sorry. Now, the data showed the phone was about 1.88 miles from that tower. So now it's like, sir, you just so happen to be sitting outside the club and you just so happen to be near this man's house at the exact time he gets shot. Mm-hmm. And now Sprint tells them as of that morning, they had got a location on the phone. So they end up giving them an address, and the police, they wasted no time. They pull up real quick, fast, in a hurry, and they knock on the door of this I don't know if it was an apartment or a house, but whatever. They knock on the door. And a woman answers. Now, her name actually is not anywhere in the court documents. Guess what? Her name was the one on that phone account, Sprint. And she like, hi, how can I help y'all? It's top of the morning. Why are y'all here? And they're like, man, we're looking for a Derrick Griffin. And she's like, oh, well, I'm Derrick's girlfriend. Girlfriend? Ooh, this is interesting because while you're over here stalking your wife, watching her every move, sitting outside of clubs like a security camera, but you got a whole ass girlfriend and y'all shacking up, it looks like. Sir, pick a stroke. Now, Derrick isn't there, like I said, when the police show up, right? But they really didn't have to go looking too far for this man because they end up catching up with him at a gas station not too far from his girlfriend's house. At that point, child, they don't need another suspect. They got Derrick, probably get Derrick right in front of him. The man was at the gas station. You trying to pump the gas, thought the police have pulled up on you. Yeah, you having a bad morning, sir. And right out the gate, when they get his ass down to the station, this man come out straight out the gate, start lying, just lying. And you a pastor, right? Tell the truth and shame the devil. Ain't that what we supposed to be doing? Just sad. Now, he kept there was like, look, I wasn't nowhere near the Elks Club that night. Now, mind you, Kim done saw you. They don't know, but they got your cell phone records. You got a white Cadillac. We got a witness talking about a man running to a white Cadillac. Okay, Derrick, go off. Let me be quiet. And like I said, they talking to Derrick. They done talked to the girlfriend. The girlfriend was like, well, yeah, he had left my house around 8 o'clock that night. And he said he was going to a friend's house with liquor to get some liquor. And she specifically says that he left in, again, this white Cadillac. So like they like, all right, we know this your white Cadillac. This is it. Like they have all the evidence at this point because that white Cadillac is what did you in. If you're gonna commit a crime, I'm gonna need you not to do it in your own car. Potentially steal a car, use a crackhead's car. Ain't that what they used to do? I don't know. I don't commit crimes, but I'm just saying that if I did, I'm not gonna commit a crime in my car that I ride in all the time that everybody knows it's mine. Just a thought. Not advocating that y'all commit murder or crimes, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. So like, yeah. So they're like, all right. So Derrick does tell police something similar. He's like, yeah, I left around 8 o'clock. I went to get some liquor from his friend's house. And they only identified this friend in the court records as TL. And he claims that he got the TL house around 11 o'clock. Now, if you left at 8, what was you doing from 8 to 11? I have questions and or concerns. That's a big chunk of time, sir. What was you doing? That's unaccounted for. They say he picked up the liquor. He stayed for a few minutes. He had a short conversation and then left. But anyway, the girlfriend said she claimed that he got back to the house between 11:15 and 11:30. But that doesn't make sense because we already know around 11:15 he was outside the Elks Club. And Kristopher leaves shortly after that. And by the time it's hitting around 11:30, that's when the shooting happened. So, girl, is you up here lying to the police about to say this man? Is he worth it? Is he worth it? But also outside the club and near the scene of the shooting. So these timelines aren't matching. Somebody lying. We ain't gonna say who it is, but we know who it is because somebody's lying. Because the timeline ain't timelining. Now, either she got the time wrong, or she's trying to help him, or he lied to her too. But any which way it goes, baby, don't get me caught up in your mess because that alibi, it ain't holding up too well. And the girlfriend did all, but I think she kind of was just like, I'm about being some shit. So let me tell y'all a little bit of something to get y'all off my ass. She was like, look, when he came back, he was acting kind of off. Something went right. And I don't know what he did, but I ain't got nothing to do with it. And I just want y'all to know that. I feel you. I figure. So then there's like, you know what? Okay. I ain't really want, he said that he didn't want nobody to know that he was drinking because he a pastor. And he didn't want people to know that he was out drinking and cheating on his wife.
You tell yourself, no one wants your college-era band tees. But on Depop, people are searching for exactly what you've got. You once paid a small fortune for them at merch stands. Now, a teenager who calls them vintage will offer that same small fortune back. Sell them easily on Depop. Just snap a few photos and we'll take care of the rest. Who knew your questionable music taste would be a money-making machine? Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
So you sitting here being questioned about a murder, and your biggest concern right now is your reputation for drinking. You ain't want people to know you was drinking liquor and cheating on your wife. Just to clarify, the Bible never said drinking was a sin. Just putting it out there. It said drunkenness is a sin, but if you want to get technical about it, he ain't never say you couldn't drink. You just said don't get drunk. But another thing for another day. Now, cheating on your wife thing, he did say don't cheat on your wife. You shouldn't be cheating on your wife, period, dot. Never mind. I have a whole theory. I know I almost went left. Whatever. Anyway, we need to be focused on the fact that this man just got shot and killed, and you're over here defending the fact that you wasn't drinking and cheating. Whatever. And like I said, he just happened to claim that he's nowhere near it. And he's still denying being outside the club. But before we move on, this is what really locks Derrick in. After police arrest him, they went and searched the girlfriend's house. They found a .38 caliber revolver, fully loaded, with 5 rounds. They also found a 9mm on the nightstand with 1 live round. And then there's a 20-count box of .38 caliber copper jacketed ammo. Now remember, there were no shell casings found at the scene because they thought it was a revolver. And now, right here, we have a revolver. Oh shit. But it gets worse. They also find the title to that white Cadillac, and guess whose name is in? Is in Derrick's name? Oh, are we surprised? No, we're not. So now in the car, we've confirmed that car is legally his. So police go ahead and they seize that caddy and they search it. And inside the center console of this Cadillac, and it's a Cadillac Seville, it's an ugly old people car back in the day, whatever. In the center console, they find a box of .38 caliber copper jacketed rounds with 5 rounds missing. Same caliber, same type of ammo, 5 missing. Derrick was shot 5 times. Interesting. And one of the cartridges from that revolver actually had a fingerprint on it, and later testing actually revealed that fingerprint matched Derrick's fingerprint. And on top of all of that, they did have records that showed that he purchased that .38 revolver as well. So now they got the gun, you got the ammo, you got the car, you got the print, and you're still saying it wasn't you. On top of the fact that we got witnesses saying that they saw you sitting outside the club, and we have your cell phone records. But keep going, keep talking, Derrick. Keep digging yourself in the hole, Derrick. Come on, Derrick. So let's talk about Derrick for a minute. Derrick Trevor Griffin, he was born December 7th, 1970. Oh, I can't wait to post y'all his mugshot. So his daddy was Jesse Griffin, and his daddy was a pastor at the True Vine Missionary Baptist Church. And Derrick, he followed right behind him. He was the associate pastor at that same church. Shaming the good family. So church's background, he grew up in it. If his family was like very well respected in the community, of course. And just a fun fact, his dad is actually still pastoring at that same church to this day in 2026. Yes, his dad is still pastoring that church. So like I said, for the most part, his record was pretty clean. I mean, like I said, he was a pastor. So, that's to be expected. Now, he had a couple little things. He had some attempted theft, disorderly conduct. I mean, nothing major, but, just noted. And him and Kim, they have been married like a little less than 20 years, which is a long time. And now it's not really said exactly why they separated, but I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Like, they did lose a son together, because that son that she said was killed, that was her and Derrick's son together, if I didn't mention that. And I ain't trying to be funny, but that kind of loss can really shake a marriage. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if that played a part. Again, I don't know. That's just speculation on my behalf. Allegedly. Could be right, could be wrong. I don't know. That's just something that popped into my head. Now I say, at this point, they had been separated for about a year and a half, and the divorce had been filed, but Derrick let the petition lapse. Like, he filed for divorce, but then he let it lapse. So technically, like I said, they were still married. So she was like single adjacent, but y'all been separated for a year and a half. What is y'all holding out for? I don't know. Maybe they throw something back together. I don't know. But you got somebody on the side. You got somebody on the side. Y'all may as well just go ahead and file them papers and be done with it so y'all can go live y'all life. But now you got him acting like he can't let go. He's watching her. He's calling up. He's showing her. He's stalking her, coming, popping up where she is. But at the same time, sir, you have a whole girlfriend. Make it make sense. And now, before we jump back into that night, there is something that you do need to know. And I mentioned this in the beginning, that Derrick and Kristopher, they actually knew each other. Like, their families knew each other. Like, I believe their brothers were friends. And I believe at one point they actually like grew up on the same block. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Kristopher was shot 5 times. And I'm just going to leave that right there. And Derrick's just sitting there with the detectives, just still lying. I wasn't there. I ain't do nothing. Whole time, like I said, he don't even know they got his phone records. So he just, he talking a little too comfortable, sir. This is where again, I don't know why y'all walk in there. Attorney, please. That's all I have to say. But then he starts lightweight telling himself, right? And this is why having an attorney will help you. He basically starts going off about Kim. Like, let me tell y'all something about her. She a hoe. All right. He like, yeah, she out there. And he was like, she just entertaining this nigga and that nigga. And she just passing her shit around like it's a goddamn lollipop in kindergarten class. And he is big mad about this. And he like, look, we had argued because I had pulled up on her and she texting all these dudes or whatever and she married. Nigga, you are too. And he like, I ain't gonna hold you. That pissed me off. Why are you mad? You got a whole girlfriend, you shacking up and you're mad she's dating you. So anyway, okay, we got a motive right here. There's jealousy, control, and ego. They don't, like I said, they didn't even need the dang on motive because they got all the evidence. They don't even need the freaking motive, but whatever. And again, they're still just sitting there like, he pulled the R. Kelly. I didn't do this stuff. It wasn't me. And they're like, okay, cool. And they're just like, okay, well, we're just gonna have you, stand up, put your hands behind your back. We're gonna go ahead and take you to jail. We're not gonna collect $200 and we're not gonna pass go. And this is the thing though, like they kind of got kind of messed up. Just because they arrest you doesn't mean that they're going to charge you. There's a specific amount of time that they have to actually charge you after your arrest, or they have to let you go. So he got arrested the same night or early morning. So that was May 11th. May 13th hits and he's still sitting there with no charges. So prosecutors are like, we need more time. I don't know why they needed more time because y'all got all this evidence out and now you got a motive. I don't know what you need more time to charge him with, but we need more time. So they actually got an extension to the following Monday at 4 p.m. They either had to charge him or let him go. And they was not about to let him walk. So that when that extension came around before that deadline hit, they was like, boom, we're going to hit you with 2 counts of first-degree murder. They were not playing. So fast forward to May 17th, he had his first court appearance. People showed up for him. His parents, they were there. His parents ain't say a word. They was there and they walked right back out. And that alone says a lot. So the judge ends up setting his bail at $1 million. Or she said, I'll even be nice to you. I cut it down to $750,000 with some conditions that you don't have any contact with the family. So Derrick, this man gonna say, just because you're a pastor don't mean you too bright. This man gonna say, so do that mean I'm being released? No, fool. Do you have the $750,000? And that's what the judge asked him. She said, well, yeah, you can be released. You have the $750,000. He was like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to sit there because I ain't got that. Mm-hmm. So he goes to sit it on down because he can't afford that bail. That's why y'all shouldn't be committing crimes. I know I can't afford $1 million in bail. Shoot, even 10% of that is $100,000. Who got that laying around? I'm not putting up my house for you. Anyway, July 11th, he officially is indicted. In his defense, they are scrambling. They're trying to get the case thrown out. They're trying to say there's not enough evidence. We have all the evidence. And of course, the courts deny that. Then he's trying to get Kim's statement tossed out about him stalking her and her seeing him outside the club. They denied that too. Then he was trying to get the phone records thrown out because he said that y'all ain't have no warrant. That they denied that too. So everything, like, they like, you're not getting off with this. So, but we do actually need to circle back to Kim for just a second because we're not about to act confused. Like I said, they did a spin the block with Kim. And Kim, like I said, she was outside. She wasn't just seeing just Kristopher. I'm going to just say she was dating men. She was meeting men. She was taking them home. She was doing whatever she wanted to do, which, okay, girl, that ain't none of my business. I ain't got nothing to say about that. Do you? But let's not act like that didn't play a role in this man losing his mind, okay? And I'm not justifying it because there is no justification, but that man was watching her. He was tracking her. He's calling you back to back. He's spiraling. And I get you don't want to bring drama into what you got going on. But if you clearly see this man is unhinged and he is stalking you, you don't know what he may do. And you're now essentially putting others at risk. Like she again confirmed that Derrick went through her phone. They got into it about, her texting all these men. I mean, shit, she maybe she didn't have a whole phase. Maybe she wanted to have her whole phase. That's that lady's business. It ain't got nothing to do with us because it does not. But maybe she should have just got divorced before. No, because she was trying to have a whole phase and he couldn't take it. That's all I can say. I don't know. I say, but that's why, like I said, Derrick ends up he crashed out instead of letting it go. And I'm so tired. Like it just makes no sense. You got a bitch over here. She doing her thug dizzle. Let her mind her business. You mind yours, and everybody could have went home safely. That man did not have to lose his life over some bullshit. Now, fast forward, we are at January 9th, 2012. They was not about to sit here and drag this out too long. Because that's less than a year. Yeah, that was like 8 months. They was not about to play with Derrick. He got a public defender. Her name was Arlene Santiago. And at this point, it's all about what they can prove. Now, remember, they had all the evidence. They had hella evidence. So I don't know why this man did not just go ahead and take a plea deal because I'm sure he was offered one. But I don't know why he decided to go to trial. But in all of this, there was a bullet recovered from Kristopher's body. So, of course, they bring in a forensic expert to test it and to testify. Now, you would think this is where they would come in like, yep, this is the gun. No. The results were actually inconclusive. She couldn't say it was the gun, but she couldn't say it wasn't the gun either. So basically, it's not clearing him. It's just not the slam dunk people expected it was going to be. But hold on, because this is where it does get even worse for Derrick. Because when they actually had booked him into the jail and they had searched him, child, why they find a 38 silver tip hollow point round in this man's pants, in his pants pocket? Sir, why do you have that on you? And not just any bullet. That bullet has the bullet had a very similar class characteristics to the one that was pulled from Kristopher's body. So if that's not a smoking gun, baby, I don't know what it is. On top of everything, all the other information they got. Let's say you got the same type of ammo. A 38 revolver is found at your girlfriend's house. There's ammo in your car. There's missing rounds. Your fingerprint is on the cartridge. And now you got a matching type of bullet in your pocket. I mean, at what point do we freaking stop playing games and waste these taxpayers' money? And to make it even worse, Derrick does admit that those are my guns. Yeah, they mine. Both of them. The ones you found at the house, yeah, them was mine. Deny. So it's not even about, well, maybe it was somebody else's. No, sir, it's yours. All of it. At this point, the jury was probably like, why are we wasting our time? I mean, I guess we can get some free lunch out of this, but I don't. Yeah. So the jury is just like, yeah, okay. Now, Derrick was able to he did secure one win. They denied Kim being able to testify for the prosecution's behalf because of spousal privilege, where they had her statement saying that she saw him outside, but they were not able to legally bring her in to testify due to spousal privilege. So I guess it worked out in his favor that they didn't divorce for the sake of this trial. which didn't mean much for real because they already have the evidence. So it didn't really matter. And after a 2-week trial, 6 hours, what the heck was what went on for 2 weeks is what I would like to know. We have all this evidence. Why did it take 2 weeks to wrap this shit up? But anyway, they come back after 6 hours of deliberation. And what took y'all so long to deliberate? We should just got our good lunch, said the man was guilty, and we could go home. Y'all don't get paid for jury duty. Like, yeah, whatever. So they came back, they found him guilty. No surprise there. They found him guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. And at sentencing, he got life without the possibility of parole. So there ain't no second chance, baby. You're not coming home. You're going to just sit. And the only way you're coming home is going to be in a casket. And you know what? I ain't mad at it because that's exactly what needed to happen because this man lost his life. And their family lost their son, their brother, their grandson, all because you couldn't control yourself, because your ego was louder than your logic, because you wanted control over somebody you weren't even treating right. Like, and that is a part that'll never sit right with me. So he does try to appeal 2013 and 2016. He tried to appeal, talking about he had ineffective counsel. And I ain't even mad at him. If you have a public defender, I don't think that your defense is too great anyway, because everybody knows that they're overloaded, they're overworked, they're underpaid. So I can see the ineffective counsel, but of course was just like, no, I won't give a damn about none of that. So as of now, he is sitting at the MCF Oak Park Heights for the rest of his life, and that is the end of Derrick, basically. Good riddance. Now, before I get out of here, we're going to talk about this week's vibe check. So if you remember, it was Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River. And I already know some of y'all are about to say this fits too well, or maybe you have an opinion on how it fits. Now, I am so bad because I keep freaking forgetting to read the comments that the cousins left about the vibe check. So what I have been doing is I've been asking, let me see, where is it? Let me find it. Yes, okay. So what I do in the Facebook group, Love Lies and Alibis, if you want to come on, join us over there because it's fun over there. Come inside, it's fun inside. I always, on every Wednesday, I link the song. I put the YouTube link for the video. And I said, the kind of energy this week is giving was I moved on, but I'm still watching you. I got my own situation, but yours is bothering me. I'm not with you, but I don't like that you're happy with somebody else. So the hypocrisy was very loud. So I asked them, I said, to give me a story time. Tell me about a time somebody was mad at you, moved on while they already had somebody. You know the type, watching your every move, acting funny when you start dating again, suddenly popping up like they got a say in your life, hating on the new person for no reason. Now, what did they do? Did they act weird, or did it just turn into full-on drama? Because people don't actually want you. They don't want anybody else to have you. So let me see what the cousin said, because again, I have been forgetting to read these and I apologize. Now, Shanita said, toxic, just toxicity at its fullest. Terry said, I think it's funny, so I play right along with them if I'm single. They get ignored when someone else has my attention. And then Shauna says, I haven't had any of these situations yet, and I am grown. Clearly, I didn't do enough in my youth. I ain't mad at that. Sometimes it's just safer not to do stuff in your youth. I don't know. I had a pretty boring.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
As far as relationship wise, I say I had a pretty boring, not upbringing, but my God, relationship status, I didn't have all that drama for the most part. Now, okay, so I did do that. So back on track. So y'all, I need y'all to tell me, did this song pass a vibe check or not? And listen, like I said, I read the responses. I'm going to do better. I promise I will do better. So make sure y'all head over to Love Lies and Alibis so y'all can get in on that with me every Wednesday. And then before we go, y'all already know how to find me. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I am Melanin Mysteries Podcast. And like I said, if you really want to get all of the mix, join the private discussion group. It's Love, Lies, and Alibis. And sometimes you have to search Melanin Mysteries. I don't know why it pops up like that. Technology is not my friend lately. And I say, it's fun over there. And lastly, like I said at the beginning, please go ahead and leave me a 5-star review wherever you're listening because it helps really push the show. And I know y'all want more cousins in the family. Don't be stingy. Please share me with everybody. Share me with your friends, your family, your sister, your cousin. Share me with everybody. I appreciate it oh so much. And to my subscribers, I will see y'all on Saturday for a brand new episode of One Bad Night. And child, y'all, this one's going to blow your mind because it only takes one. And as always, hearts break, the alibis don't. And I will see y'all next time.